wait to tell you about my game of Stygian Society. First things first, have you seen this? Yeah, it's a cube tower and it is central to the game, and I cannot wait to tell you how this works, but it's always just so fun. And one win in the center! That's big. I can't wait to tell you why. Stay tuned. Once players have selected a room from the appropriate level, depending on where they are climbing the tower, they are going to do a support action, which is optional. Those are usually really beneficial, and they show up in your leveled up cards once you get experience. And then the player is going to take an action. Target a specific monster on one of your room cards, which you have to do ahead of time. You will then gather the amount of cubes necessary to complete the action. That means grabbing the hero cubes or grabbing the monster cubes, depending on what the room says that you need to add, and if you have any status effects which might have you add more cubes. After you've dropped your cubes down the tower, you resolve the enemy, the monster actions first, and then you'll resolve the hero action. That's a basic turn. It's really straightforward, it's really simple. While somebody else is figuring out what they want to do on their turn, you can figure out what you'd like to do. But also, I would just suggest, be willing to be flexible in your turns, because you might think, oh, well, it's obvious that I'll do this on my turn. But once it gets to you, some things have changed a little bit, and you need to be flexible and change and shift to say, oh, I thought I was doing this action. I think I'm going to do this one instead. Once you've defeated a monster, it will tell you exactly what to do on that card and how many experience points you get. Clear the field and the crypt from cubes, set the peril back to 0, and then you will just start with your next level. The cubes in the cube tower actually remain from adventure to adventure. Once you go from level 1 to level 2 to level 3, the cubes stay in there, and at the end, when we were at 6, we looked down on the top and there were all sorts of cubes that were just hanging out, and I have no idea how long they were in there. When everyone levels up, after the first blue counter of experience goes on top of the other blue counter of experience, you'll move that one marker up one more space, so it takes one more to get to the next level. It takes a little bit longer, and you need more experience to level up. Refresh any of your exhausted cards, which is awesome, because some of these cards ask you to turn them sideways once you use them, and then you don't get to use them again until they are refreshed. And this is one way to refresh those cards, is by leveling up through experience. The next thing that's really cool is you get one of your cards. Let's say it's the very first card that you get. You are going to shuffle up all your level 1 cards, and you're going to select one randomly. After that, you have the choice of taking any of your level 1 cards by looking at all of them and selecting one, or because you have a level 1 card, you can at random select a level 2 card and then take that one. Of course, you don't know what it is, but once you get that one, for your third experience, you could again go up and do your randomized level 3 card, or you can select a very specific level 2 card because you already have a level 2 card. I think that's a wonderful way of allowing players to really get exactly what they want. Once they're in experience in level 1 or experience in level 2, they get to select from those small specialized decks, or you can just, shoot all the way up to 3 and get a random card that's pretty powerful. It may not do exactly what you want, but it's still really cool. Let's say that on my turn, as the knight, I actually used my cubes as they dropped. So for example, it says I deal 3 wounds if I have 2 blue cubes. I can use the 2 blue that shows up in the crypt because each cube is worth 2 times the amount. So I can use 2 blue here to do 3 damage, and for every additional 2 blue from the field, I get to do 2 more wounds. Well, guess what? 1, 2 from the field. So I did 3 plus 2, that's 5 damage to the monster that I selected before I dropped my cubes. That's huge. 5 points. That's one of these big red ones. That's awesome. Now, if I killed a monster while I did that, then that monster would be removed and we would have fewer creatures to kill in that particular room. So the designers state that if you're with 2 players, then you should probably play with 4 characters unless you alter the game slightly to play with fewer characters. And they also recommended to play with the spell sling, the burglar, the doctor, and the knight. So that's what my husband and I did. And I played the doctor and the knight, and he played the burglar and the spell sling. And we had a great first round, our first phase. We drew our lower room card and got the monsters set up in their area so we knew exactly how they played. And you use these figures to represent them on the card. And we thought, yeah, we're gonna get through this. And we're kind of slowly building up our specialty and our strength and our defense. And we're not getting hit too bad, because one way for the game to end is if your party wounds equal your max party wound, and you start at 25. Now, as the doctor, I was able to get these cards every time we leveled up. When we got enough experience to level up, I'd get cards that would give our party more max hit points. And I think that's honestly a really great move to make sure that your wounds, even if they get high, they never get so high that they completely max out. So that's one way to do this. And then of course, if you experience too much peril in a round, it's going to tell you specifically if you do exceed this, then you lose the game. So in the lower rooms, we fought in the parlor and slash and burn. And for example, in the parlor, you added 2 peril to your peril track if there were 4 red cubes showing in the field or the crypt, 3 yellow, or 5 black. And then every time your peril reached a certain threshold, in this case it's 3, 6, 12, and 18, then certain things happened. And so the more peril you get, the more perilous things are, and the more dangerous it gets for your team and your mission. So we felt super great in that first round, getting everything, figuring things out, dropping cubes. As you noticed when I dropped, I was playing the Steel Fist melee action of the knight. I dropped 3 blue cubes, 1 red, 1 yellow, and 1 black, which is the base way to start because these represent the red monsters, the yellow monsters, and the black monsters. And then the blue, green, and white cubes are representative of different kinds of attacks and abilities that help the characters, which is the hero stuff. So when I dropped my cubes and I got super excited that a blue cube went inside this area, that's really hard to do. I actually can't believe I did it on my first try, and it counts as double. So I have 2 blue points sitting right here in the center, and in the field, what dropped was a yellow, 2 more blue, and a black. Where's the red cube? The red cube is stuck in here somewhere. Now we know it didn't come out, which means it's probably going to come out on somebody else's turn. Now, the reason why these matter and the reason why players can get overwhelmed in this game is because when you have a monster card, this is a lower room card, you add peril, in this case, to your peril tracker on the bottom every time there are 3 cubes of red, yellow, or black in the area, which means if a black cube had gone in the center, that would be 2 black cubes. It's good for me when it's blue, but it's bad for us when it's the monster cubes that go in there. And so you kind of keep a collection of all these cubes round by round. And what that means is, if my doctor goes first, or my knight goes first, and then my doctor, and then it goes around the table, and then it's the burglar and the spell sling, then we are playing and cubes are accumulating here. And so if we aren't treating these cubes, like the black, red, and yellow cubes, then they're going to build up and they're going to start affecting us negatively. All of the effects stay where they are from round to round to round, and so we started having all of these status effects that were building up, and we got through the mid-boss in Phase 3, which we played Rita and Dolores, and it was just a real tough tough round, and it was so hard that essentially the entire round 4, we made it all the way here thinking, oh man, this is really pretty far. Lewis only made it to stage 2 when he played by himself, and now both of us together were made it to stage 4. Now, we were so beat up. Our health was poor. We couldn't work on our experience. We had so much. We were stricken, we were cursed, we were incapacitated, and we were weakened to an extreme degree. We had so many of these effects. You have to react to that. In some cases, as the doctor, you actually get to drop cubes and heal the party and clear bad cubes before the bad guys take their action. Now, normally when you drop cubes, you have to then check for how many, that level of cubes. So if it's 3, 3, and 3, and then you have to add peril, they activate first before you get to take your action, even though you drop the cubes on your turn. But as the doctor, she got to go before those cubes activated. And it's plays like that, learning how to work the game and just have a really great time with it, and just to plan that strategy and to talk to your teammates and to really just work together. This is not an individual game. If you think about it that way, then you're probably not going to succeed. I think we both said, well, this is it. There's no way we can make it through stage 4. I mean, we had a good run, and things are looking really bad. And I don't know how we did, but we skated through. And as we did into stage 5, we were healing and we were getting rid of these effect cards. And so we were just getting stronger and stronger with these cards. There are support, passive, and active abilities that you really don't necessarily value until you're playing the game, you've gone up a couple levels, and you go, oh, I should have picked that early on because I didn't realize it was going to affect me this way and that way and that way. And so you kind of get to know the characters and you know what their abilities are. When we passed level 5 and got all the way up to the wizard level, we were so invigorated. And then we went to the top, which was level 6, and we fought the wizard. And again, I was ready to say we did really well. We made it 5 levels. We're at the wizard, and our wizard was Jared. He was super interesting in the way that he had an ability to defend himself. And our goal, like our strategy, the entire last round was don't ever let those cubes that let him defend get so high that he puts those defense markers up, because once he gets that defense, all of our attack is going to be muted. It's going to be lessened. And so we just did that. It was the black cubes. If we ever got 4 black cubes, we add a status token to Jared's card, reducing all damage Jared suffers by the number of status tokens on his card. And then if you want to remove those, it takes 4 hero cubes of any kind to take 1 off. We thought that's way too bad. What we can handle are the red damage and the yellow damage. So you get cursed with yellow and you get wounds with the red. Now it's pretty bad, 4 wounds, but guess what? I had been beefing up my fighter and she had a lot of defense. So when she took 4 damage on her turn, she had 3 shields. So she defended 3 and only 1 got through to the party. And so that really helped. And I thought, yes, we're doing it, we're working it, we can let those go by, and we just have to make sure that we hit him for 45 points, which 45 points, wow, that's just a lot of damage that you have to do. Up until that point, we never fought anything that had that much and had that potential to really deflect our attack. After we fought Jared and beat him as the wizard level 6, I mean, there's also just something wonderful about feeling like you're actually climbing the tower, which is the mission. That's like your overall goal in the game, and getting all the way up to the tippy top, defeating the wizard, and just that victorious yay, and you throw your arms up and you high five everybody. It just makes you want to play again. It is fun, it's exciting, and wholly replayable.